You know, I'm a traditionalist. I love Neyland Stadium. I love the name. I love all the tradition behind it. However, would Tennessee or should Tennessee ever consider renaming Neyland Stadium if it meant a lot of cash? Now, I said when this came up the first time, no way, because it could be some business who ends up doing something absolutely terrible, and then they represent you and you represent them. And we all saw it happen with Papa John's Stadium at Louisville. You don't want anything like that. But I've got the perfect one, because this person has been around Tennessee her entire life. She loves the Vols, and she is as wholesome as they get. Dolly Parton. The one change that I would make if it meant a lot of NIL money, Dollywood Stadium has a ring to it. They have the money. You would be talking, you're thinking about it. You're thinking about it. I know you are. So the question is, would you rename Neyland Stadium to Dollywood Stadium for $10 million in NIL per year? Yes, by players already has 20% of the vote. No, tradition is too much. Before you rip me, if you're going to rip me, will you give me that Dollywood is the perfect selection of all the possible sponsors?
I mean, well, let's set this up first, because I don't think we set it up. For those who don't know the story, Florida International is going to name their stadium after Pitbull. Pitbull buys the rights for the football stadium, so it will be Pitbull Stadium now in Florida. Pitbull is, for those who don't know, is a global rapper who does a lot of pop songs. Early Pitbull was great, okay? That dude, Mr. 305 Pitbull, was amazing. Mr. Worldwide, a little too pop for me. But Mr. 305, the one signed to Lil Jon, was he?
I don't know as much about pop music, but it seemed like he had kind of moved on. I mean, it didn't seem like he was still relevant.
Early Pitbull had the great combination of like Latino rap mixed with Southern rap, and it was just amazing. Go listen to MIA's first album, his first debut album, one of the greatest Southern rap albums, and it's so underrated. But okay, that's just getting sidetracked. Okay, so I get Florida International doing that makes sense because it's going to help explode their popularity. Tennessee, I debate on the front if they should ever do it because they don't have to get the type of pub FIU gets. FIU is trying to compete with Florida Atlantic because Florida Atlantic had Lane Kiffin, the pit bull of college football. Okay, so Tennessee, I can't debate Dollywood.
Okay,
Joe. Wait.
Yes, go ahead.
But Dave, okay, I'm going to say this, and this is the problem with music in general. Music is relative to an age. I think one of the things that hurt Tennessee recruiting in the 2010s was their commitment to a certain culture made them seem very square to younger recruits coming in.
Oh, the third down for what thing?
Well, that was them trying, and it was blatantly pathetic. But yes. like you got to introduce some young flair. Okay, like Rocky Top. I'm sorry, when you play the country sound of Rocky Top, I think a lot of athletes coming visiting are going to be like, this is not my vibe. I do think that.
But every school has that. Every school has some hokiness to an 18-year-old.
I'm not saying drop the hokiness. I'm saying what you need to do is you got to add some flair to it. The only thing with Dollywood is it is going to come across a little hokey. And you got, like, Tennessee's got a lot of hokiness. You
say hokey, I say wholesome.
But it's not, you got to think of something a little more. First of all, Pitbull itself is outdated. Like, I remember people were talking about Deion Sanders in Colorado, like, oh, he's so cool, he's bringing in Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne's old. Lil Wayne is past his prime. He's so 2009, bro. Okay? So, like, and I'm saying, like, you gotta, if you're going to do this, you have to understand that what you're doing, if you're doing it new, now, if they had done it Dollywood, like in the 1970s and just kept it, you got me. Or the 1980s, you got me. But doing it now in a new form almost comes across as just old.
Wait, Dolly Parton wasn't considered hip and cool in the 80s by 17-year-old prospects. Maybe she was because of two big reasons, but
two really, really big reasons that are bigger now.
I mean, I don't know that she hurts or helps the draw to Dollywood Stadium just because of now. Now, if you said because she's older, she's not going to be around much longer, then I could roll with you on that. But
I don't know. Dolly was
$10 million. She would pay. I guarantee you, they pay $10 million a year for naming rights.
Dolly came out at a time when country music, while square, was kind of hip at the same time because it was rebellious, it was outlaw, and so it connected. You know, it's a little bit different now. I mean, you would be better off like naming it after Morgan Wallen or somebody like that at this point. And
you're probably right, but I hate that. Let me ask you this: Food City or Dollywood?
Dollywood. That's a way better name. Yeah, Food City is like, but like I you know, I'm anti-corporate in general, so you know, Food City is like I've never liked naming stadiums after corporations. I hated it when they started doing bowl games that way. I just want them named after. I think that has absolutely contributed to the destruction of college football.
Can I offer you this too? Because I know way too. The one thing you may not know about me, I'm also a big amusement park guy. So you mentioned I was a car guy, but I love roller coasters. This is something you may not know. They set in place 10 years ago at Dollywood a goal to be a destination amusement park. What that is defined as, more than 50% of your customers come from outside a 250-mile radius. I know way too much about this. They just crossed that threshold. So if you're in some sort of partnership with Dolly and Dollywood, you're going to grow your brand by God that people actually fly from China to go to Dollywood. I know that is bizarre. Not China, Japan, wherever. They fly across the world to go to Dollywood. So you're going to grow your brand because you're going to have Tennessee stuff everywhere. This is a partnership.
That is true. That is true. And Dollywood, look, no one holds Dolly Parton in higher regard than I do. I mean, Dolly Parton has done more to help. I'm sorry?
Her bra does.
Fair enough. In an age where we have gut funding for public education and literacy rates are collapsing, no one has done more to combat that than Dolly Parton, where she has her giant. I mean, Dolly Parton goes out of her way to make sure low-income kids still have literacy. The literacy rate doesn't collapse among low-income kids in this country. That Dolly Parton Books program, I don't know if you know about it, Dave, but like Dolly Parton is a huge reason that the illiteracy rate isn't even worse among young kids today. And so no one holds Dolly in higher regard than me in that way. So you're right. From a business, I may be coming around because from a business perspective, business perspective, Dollywood would take it global. I mean, guys, but let's just be honest. There's somebody else who lives in Tennessee and nobody knew what football was as a sport before she started dating Travis Kelce. I mean, she made football famous.
Well, you're not going to name it Swift Stadium.
Taylor Swift made football famous, guys. It was a niche sport, and then Taylor Swift started dating Travis Kelce, and everybody started watching it.
That's good. Maybe she could start dating some teenage Tennessee football players.
Possibly. Okay, wait. Here's a good one. Dave, this is horrible. But the year that the Lane Kiffin Bruce Pearl year where New Keith Richardson got kicked off and Tyler Smith got dismissed from the team with the issues.
Jansen Jackson was plotting his murder. Go ahead.
There's a rapper from Memphis now named Key Glock. Tennessee should have used him as their endorsement. Nice. He'd have been great. Key Glock Stadium, guys, right down the road.